Hey y'all, it is currently June the 1st. I even checked right before I cut on the video. The 1st of June, headed into the dog days of summer. And your boy over here is looking pretty fresh, mighty fresh. Check out the hair. Yeah, give you a little taste. But actually, earlier today, is a picture of me earlier today. Check that out. It's a monster right there, buddy. That's somebody to take serious right there, buddy. Putting in that work. And you're reading correctly. 8 miles. Ran. I'll have you know, you're talking South Texas heat, dude. It was like 90 some odd degrees. And it, quote, felt like 98 degrees at the time. Monster. We're on monster time over here. All right, it's not even appropriate to the subject of this video, but I thought I would throw it in there. All right, gotta brag real quick. Actually, and you can kind of tell by the title, I'm sure, of this video, the subject matter on this video, I want to let you know, has a lot to do with BJ Penn. If you don't know who that is, he's a MMA fighter, retired, used to be real big and popular up in the UFC. Hailing from out of Hawaii, BJ Penn. We're going to talk about him, all right? And something is happening with him. If you're not familiar, let's just say an entire rabbit hole for sure. In fact, I've yet to dive down it, and I'm going to after I get off this video. I'm gonna dive even farther down this rabbit hole. We're gonna talk about that, but also I want to let you know another big reason why we're gonna talk about that today, and it's something that occurred, I guess, weeks ago. All right, as you can see right here above my head is my other head. There's another head up there. Not that kind of head, you pervert. But it's a video on YouTube on my channel. I'm sure you're aware of it. It's got 25 views. So let's have an adult conversation in which I pretty much break down, and it takes like 5 minutes for me to break down why I'm not going to choke a female. And I'm talking to all y'all females out there. Don't ever come at me expecting me to choke you. I'm not going to do that. All right, but this particular subject is not even related to the subject at hand today. All right, just so happened that I got a comment, as you can see, 6 comments. Half of them are mine. All right, so I got a comment on this video, and you could check it out if you wanted to, but I got a screenshot of it. It's from my man, Maitre. Let me tell you, I trust Maitre like almost nobody in my life, right? Very, very, very few people do I trust to have some sense more than a damn Maitre. I'm here to tell you he's an absolute legend, but he came through on my channel and he left a comment and said this. He said, "Hey, Gerard," as you can see right down here. He said, "I was just watching Alex Jones. Looks a bit like him. Sounds a bit like him." He said, "But I'm sure it is not him. Do you think he has been replaced?" So I don't know what video he's seen. Looks a little bit like him, sounds a bit like him, but it's not him. I don't know what video he might be talking about, referring to. In this day and age in 2025, I can tell you right now, I don't know if you're aware, there's AI videos of everybody out there, and they're only getting better and better and more hard to tell that they're AI. There's a possibility out there you've seen an AI video of Alex Jones, and you're saying, "Oh, that's not him," because something's off, and when you're looking at him from your perception, but really it's an AI. That's why. That's because it's not him. I don't know what video he's talking about. All right, it's not really no way of knowing unless he was to convey that to me. But I do want to let you know, I guess, that my comment to him was this. He has for sure not been replaced. Now, we both seem pretty adamant about it. He says, I'm sure it is not him. And I don't know what he's talking about. And then I'm over here saying, I'm sure that it is him. Now, as a lot of people know, the reason I say I'm sure it's him, for example, is that more than anyone who I know, right, personally, I'm sure I'm not the most, but more than anyone I know, I've listened to Alex Jones. More than anyone I know, right? Except for maybe Bart Fine. Shout out Bart Fine out there, but for damn near 15 years, pretty close to 15 years, I've been listening to this guy. And what I can say, it's like, how certain or sure human beings can be, right? So as sure as they can be, I'm damn sure this is Alex Jones, all right? And Alex Jones has not been replaced by a clone or an actor or anything like that. I've been rocking with him for a long time. And what I can say, and I don't know if anyone would disagree, is that I've never ever seen anybody. I mean, there's mannerisms, there's ways of speaking, there's getting hot under the collar. This is all like back in the day, natural Texas behavior. All right, there is that, but to say that anybody who I've ever met is even similar or anywhere near similar to Alex Jones, I've never met anyone even close to like Alex Jones. I don't know anybody on earth who's met anybody who acts anywhere close. And so for those reasons why I'm so sure. And, I'll also say that, Alex Jones looks hella different, very different than how he used to. Right? But like people I've seen in regular nature, people getting older, and lots of ways looking similar to how they did, but looking very different to how they used to because of aging, right? And I know that's true. I mean, I look at Alex Jones and he looks mad different than he did, say, 5-10 years ago, right? It's a transformation. You're getting older. Not only that, he went beast mode, started working out, started eating healthy and all this, and so he shed a lot of weight and stuff. So it's like, you're going to look different. He looks very different. But I still contend that's Alex Jones. But the conversation did carry on a little bit further. It said, I had not seen him for a while. Then I saw someone who looks like a bit like him and sounds a little bit like him. And then he said, I also saw a video of Kash Patel. All right. So it goes on and says, I saw a video of Kash Patel, did not talk or look like him. Something is wrong. And he said, I feel it in my bones. I don't know if it's got my reply. Oh, yeah, I guess it does. He says something's wrong. And the thing is, I can't really argue with that. Something is definitely wrong, dude. In 2025, what I can tell you for sure is something is wrong. Something that was done by some people out there, wrong as hell. But, so we were talking about Alex Jones at first, and then he did talk about Kash Patel. Mind you, there could be AI videos out there of Kash Patel. I don't know. I mean, there's AI videos out there of every damn body, right? Quick shout out, if you know any of this, but I just want to bring it to your awareness if you're not. Quick to shout out to Tim Dillon. Because recently he had an episode of his podcast, a very, very popular podcast, one of my favorite podcasts because it's so very entertaining and so thought-provoking. Tim Dillon is both of these things extremely. And recently he had an episode talking about Kash Patel, which a lot of people were talking about this, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And I think they might have been interviewed, I think, by Judge Janine, if I remember correctly. But so they had an interview in which people did not appreciate what they were saying in their interview, to include about Jeffrey Epstein, and oh, he definitely deleted himself, and it was just himself. And trust me, that is the God's honest 100% truth. They were trying to awkwardly drive that home, and literally nobody believes him. And that's what's interesting. They could be telling the exact truth to the best of their abilities. First of all, it didn't look like it. Y'all are acting very, very sus, and it didn't, and you weren't very convincing. But even if you were very convincing, which you weren't, not even close, you were not acting normal, right? Anybody could look at you and say you're not acting normal. You're very uncomfortable. That's what's happening right now when you were being asked these questions about Epstein and all that. Tim Dillon was talking about that, and his theory, just to make it real brief, he was saying um, what happened in his mind, what he's assuming happened is these people that could be incriminated by the whole Epstein thing, they're way too powerful, dude. They have way too much money, and they're way too powerful. If we were to expose them, the whole world would just burst into smithereens because these people run the world. These people would be incriminated in the whole Epstein thing, and all that. And he brought up a lot of good points to include, like, if you were on those tapes, why wouldn't you want Epstein deleted? So out of the hundreds and perhaps thousands of different politicians, royalty, billionaires, people, tech people with like crazy influence, out of these hundreds and thousands of people who probably could be incriminated on these tapes, why would nobody want to delete? That's what's interesting. It's like they're trying to say, oh, no, 100%, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they're talking about 100% that, oh, Jeffrey Epstein did himself in. That doesn't take away the fact that there's hundreds, at least, of people who would very much want him deleted in that situation. And so you had to come up with theories, and it's one of those things like JFK shooting and stuff, in which we could come up with theories, and we could know in our bones, oh, this is the truth, but no one's ever going to come out and say officially, this is the truth. No one's ever going to be um, fair with us and shoot us straight, if you will. No one's going to actually come out with the exact facts on these things. The JFK thing, the Epstein deal. We know there's no way that there's not hundreds of people that at least that need to be implicated in consuming the product that Jeffrey Epstein bought. Yet not one single soul has been indicted or arrested or anything, and it's never going to happen as well. We know for a fact that he had all this sort of big, powerful customers, and it's never ever going to come out. This is what we're coming to understand because of the whole Kash Patel Dan Bongino thing. Now, you could have a theory, for example, that they had been replaced, that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had been replaced. They've been, in fact, deleted and whisked off somewhere else, replaced with new people. And in this day and age, in 2025, with the technology that's been on record, I mean, I'm not like conspiracy theorizing technology. Yes, of course they have the technology to do this. But what would be more reasonable? Would it be the theory? What would be more likely? The theory that they cannot reveal the truth that we all know is true in our bones. They cannot reveal it to the majority of the public because their heads would, the public's heads would, in unison, literally explode if they knew how the world works and how these powerful people have been recruited and whisked to the tippy top elite, and by proving themselves through doing heinous things that we would never dream of. it's just to let you know that it's all sort of possibilities, and I'm not taking any possibilities off the table. Me personally, everything is on the table all the time, but we are going to go with, in my mind, what I perceive to be the most possible, the most probable, the most likely, the most practical. That's what I'm always kind of thinking about. What's the most practical way to get things done? For example, there's going to be 100 theories, but what happened to Jeff Epstein? Some people would say he was whisked off and taken to some island in which they're going to feed him nonstop virgins or whatever until his dying days. And they got him secret on an island somewhere, and they replaced him with some other body, and they secretly whisked him off so he could be on an island somewhere, constantly getting worked over by children, I guess. Right? Although that's a possibility, when you're thinking about practicality, when you're thinking about the people who are actually making moves, probably, these people are ruthless. Number one, these people are ruthless and they have no boundaries. Number two, it's just way the flip easier, dude. It's much, much, much easier for them to delete you than it is for them to whisk you off and put you on some private island and hope nobody finds out, even though you're going to take care of him for the rest of his life and keep feeding him and children for the rest of his life. No, it's much, much easier to just delete you, all right? You've become a liability. You got deleted, dude. There's no, we can't wait to sell you out. We can't wait to delete you just as soon as you're not beneficial to us no more. And that's how their world goes. It's more practical. That's what I want to point out. It's just more practical to get rid of you. That's the easiest thing to do, usually, unless you're making enough noise. Like, for example, if you're making so much noise, like an Alex Jones, something like that, it becomes kind of harder to get rid of you. A lot of people, they just rather get rid of you because it's easier, right? So without further ado, we've been here for a while. Damn, 17 minutes. It's gonna be one of my longest recent videos. All right, but real quick before we get about here, BJ Penn. Why is he related to this subject that I'm talking about? It's completely related. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but I can't blame you for not keeping up. It's like a million billion people to keep up with these days. And so I lose track of people personally, just like everybody else losing track of people. And then they'll come back up. So, in fact, I've only known about this. I've only known a little tiny smattering about this starting today. Earlier today, I came across this. I was unaware. So, you may be aware because it's been going on for a few months, but I was unaware until today. What we're looking at is a screenshot on YouTube. If you were to type in BJ Penn and mom, you're going to get these sort of results. And all these videos, there's plenty of videos with people covering this topic. It's very much internet content out there. A lot of people making content on it. So you can find probably many videos. I've not seen any of these videos, hardly any of these videos, but you can tell there's an extreme rabbit hole is taking place right here. I noticed right before I cut on the video, look, BJ Penn is having a psychotic episode. This was 2 months ago. I haven't heard about BJ Penn for at least a couple of months. And it's very interesting. ITP MMA Live is the name of the channel, right? So that's not good. A psychotic episode, right? On the same channel, and this is 4 days ago, so it's way more recent. BJ Penn's mom reveals the horrific truth behind his arrest. So it's becoming more and more bizarre and not good. It sounds like it's not good. I want to check out those videos later. I've seen none of these videos. I've seen hardly any videos on the topic except for these YouTube shorts, which are very great. They're a very good resource for starting to know of a situation, right? At the very beginning, when you know nothing about it, that's what I found is these YouTube shorts are very good. You can go rapid fire through a lot of different ones from a lot of different creators with a lot of different angles, talking about the same subject and become more aware of it. And then, of course, you're going to want to start searching for more long form and even reading stuff. And if you're a real detective, you start even going finding public records and stuff like that, right? But I start off with the YouTube shorts. I've seen a lot of them. For example, BJ Penn, the government replaced my real mother. BJ Penn is convinced his mother has been replaced. All right, and I think I have maybe pictures of other ones. The former UFC champion claims his mom has been replaced. BJ Penn arrested and restrained from his own mother and stuff like that. All right, so you've seen all these, and you'll find plenty more, I'm sure, of these little YouTube shorts. But you know, it's just what we've been through. There's some people who's calling BJ Penn insane, and he's gone psychotic, and he's been arrested for this and that. And they're calling him, you know, like how they do. You're crazy. You're a crazy bad man. You're crazy, and you need help, right? BJ Penn is over here saying that his mother has been replaced. Okay, so while it is possible, there is a somewhat of a likelihood, it's possible that BJ Penn has gone crazy nutballs. He's insane. It's possible that he's gotten, and of course everybody jumps to the CTE, getting punched in the head too much over there in the UFC and stuff like that. CTE is definitely a real thing, right? That is possible. It's possible that BJ Penn's over here having psychotic episodes. He's claiming his mother is not his mother to her face, and he's really wilding out stuff. And she's having to put a restraining order. This allegedly is his mother right down here, this lady. She's having to put a restraining order on her son. Why? Because he's gone crazy, and who knows what he's capable of. He's an MMA fighting machine. So we got to be careful. He's got CTE and he's got psychotic breaks and stuff. We're calling the police every so often on this fella right here. That is possible. But I'm thinking to myself, what else is possible? So in this situation, you got BJ Penn right here, and he's talking about his mom. Now, he's not saying clone. Cloning technology is definitely possible, dude. And if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Cloning technology is a real damn thing, and that's for certain. And if you don't know that, you're incredibly naive and gullible as hell, dude. You are an NPC walking around if you don't know that they can clone people, right? This is like old technology, and they keep lying to you, but that's because they don't like you. They don't like me either, but I don't listen to their lies. It's been well documented public information that cloning technology is definitely out there, and it's being done, right? So, but although that's a possibility, he's not saying that. BJ Penn, from the little that I've gathered so far, he's just saying that she's been replaced. I saw a short video in which BJ Penn was talking about, his mom's name is Lorraine Shin. And I don't know why, but BJ Penn was claiming that she was actually replaced by a woman that he's aware of named Lorraine something else. It's a different Lorraine, which would lead you to believe, and I got to do more research, obviously, but it would lead you to believe that BJ Penn somehow did research and somehow found out that his mom had actually been replaced by another real person. Another real person named Lorraine, but it's not his mom. I just want to talk. Okay, it's possible that people go psychotic sometimes, especially you get hit in the head enough. You know, you might go psychotic, right? That's possible. But also at the same time, let me also bring attention to the fact is, you know your mother. Have you known your mother your whole life? Most people have. You know who your mother is. I know who my mother is, dude. And let me tell you something. You can call me crazy. You can jump to conclusions and everything. If you bring a woman around who looks kind of similar to my mom, like a lot of people look similar to my mom in this area. If you bring around a lady who looks mad similar to my mom, I'm gonna know the difference. It's gonna be immediate. My whole life I've known my mom. BJ Penn is up here. He's older than me. His whole life he's known his mom. So it should be very concerning when he says, this is not my mom. She has been replaced. In this video in particular, right here, the one right over my head, he is personally videotaping her from behind. And what he says in the video, this is just a screenshot, but what he says in the video is, look at her ass and legs. Usually you don't say that about your mom, but he's like, look at her ass and her legs. Does this look like an ass and legs of a 79-year-old woman? And I looked at the ass and the legs, to be honest, you can kind of see them from right here. No, it doesn't look like the ass and legs of a 79-year-old woman. You got a point there. You got a point. There's a little bit more meat on it than you would expect. Say, it's like more firm than you would expect. Now, can you be that firm at 79 years old? Yeah, it's possible. But is that usually the case? Hell no, dude. No, a 79-year-old lady, she's not looking like this. So, I mean, that's just one aspect. And the thing is, you would expect a man of his age to know who is his mother and to not be confused by that. So he's accusing her not being replaced by a clone, but just being replaced by another person. All right, so we got to get up out of here. I don't want to make this like an epic feature-length film of a video, but he's suggesting that she was just replaced by another person. Why would that be? I don't know all the details, but let me give some suggestions. He was talking about that his mother being replaced, and I think maybe another one of his relatives maybe been replaced. He's saying that because they're taking over the family business, whatever that is. I'm not sure what that is. These people have been brought in to take over the family business and do what God knows what with it, right? So that's what he was saying. And also, if you don't know this is a real thing. Months ago, last time I seen BJ Penn, he seemed incredibly normal, very coherent, and he was talking about trying to run for governor of Hawaii. All right, so I don't know if he was hiding his psychotic. Maybe he didn't yet have his psychotic break. Maybe he was just like on the cusp of becoming psychotic and having a psychotic break. But at that point, he wasn't. He just seemed like a normal ass person who's pissed off that his whole state is being conquered, being destroyed, and in fact, residents getting murdered all over the place. For example, Lahaina, which we hadn't forgot about. He said, we're being conquered and, in fact, deleted all over the place. It's got to stop. I'm going to run to be the governor. So you understand why I'm bringing that up? If you think of practicalities, you're one of the people, let's say, the very powerful people who has for sure conquered Hawaii. And in fact, you'll do whatever the fuck you want in Hawaii, to include burn people out of their villages and stuff, and for you to make way for your smart cities. You're talking about people with more money than we'll ever even understand. So would it be practical? Would it make sense for people with unending amounts of money who not only have already conquered Hawaii, but want to literally do whatever they want to any of the residents of Hawaii, and they've already gotten away with so damn much. Wouldn't it be practical? You got a man over here from the UFC, and he sees through your bull stuff, and he's talking mess about you, and he's calling you out specifically for burning people alive in villages and stuff. He's calling you out for it. Do you think those people like that? You think they can afford you running your mouth like this? Mm-mm. So, do you think those people with unending money, do you think they would find it practical to do God knows what with your mother and replace her with some actress, with some other person? Do you think their unending money could facilitate paying for some lady to impersonate your mother? I don't know what's happening in this situation. Impersonate your mother so that they can take over the family business and also deem you as a crazy, insane person and get you locked up before you keep running your mouth about how they are savage barbarians who've conquered Hawaii. Do you think it would be practical for them to get rid of your mother, and you'll definitely know that's not your mother, and so now you come out and you start saying, this is not my mother, I know for sure, dude. They have her replaced. You don't think that they have enough money to get that done, to have that done? You don't think that's very practical? I mean, it's like, I don't know what's happened here, but I can't think of anything more practical than this, what I just described to you. I have no idea. I'm going to dive down the rabbit hole further and stuff, but we just can't be sure. That's what I'm throwing out. We just cannot be sure. In 2025, not only do these people have unending resources, but the technology is so unbelievable that you can be so sure. These people out here, they could be right, but these people out here talking about BJ Penn, he's crazy. He's off his rocker. We need to get him on meds. We need to get him facilitated. All these people knowing not a fucking thing, dude. You are not some sort of expert. And you just cannot wait to throw BJ Penn under the bus and call him insane. Why? Because you're cowards. Why? Because you're so damn naive. We don't have time for you to convince people like you. We need people who actually look in and investigate. Yeah, it's 2025. Yeah, stuff's going to be bizarre. We need investigation. And I'm going to investigate further. I'll holler at y'all if I find some updates. All right?